Hi, I'm Kelly Kearney with Story Constellation Magazine, and with me today to talk about the new series that fans cannot wait for, Welcome to Derry, premiering this Sunday on HBO. Welcome, Stephen Ryder. Thanks for talking with me today, Stephen.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Congrats on joining the show. Fans have been waiting for a while since it's been announced. How did this project come to you?
Actually, in 2018, I auditioned for It Chapter 2, and I ended up going to Toronto and testing for it with Andy. I met Barbara, met the whole creative team at that time. And it came down to actually Isaiah Mustafa and myself. Of course, he got it. I didn't get it. And what I loved is that Andy actually sent me a beautiful email just saying how much he enjoyed the process and he really wanted to work with me on future projects. So 6 years later, I found out that this audition was happening and I put myself on tape. I understood his sensibility because I had worked with him, in the process, the audition process for the movie. And within, I think I turned it in on a Friday, and by Tuesday, it was already to studio and then passing on the network. And by that Wednesday, I got the job.
Wow, that's fantastic. And you play Hank in this prequel series, a new face in the It universe. What can you tell us about him and how he fits into Derry?
Hank is the projectionist of the local theater in Derry. And what I love about him is, in 1962, it wasn't like we were following our dreams. And so, I think he definitely has an affinity for film, but in 2025, it might not be what he would be doing, right? But he works there. He knows all the townspeople. He sees everybody and observes everybody. But I do believe because of what he does by nature, he's more of someone who kind of stays away from things. But he finds himself in Derry at this time with it and all the things that surround this town in terms of fear, and he finds himself in a pickle. So you're going to see him throughout the show go through this journey and having to constantly cultivate and curate his courage.
Well, like you mentioned, because this is a prequel, we're going to go back to 1962. So the series is set in 62, before the events of the films that people love in the book. How did stepping into that time period influence your performance? Maybe from the wardrobe or the mindset that you're approaching this character in?
Well, in a lot of ways, you have to really just strip back where you are and all the entitlements in a lot of ways that we have today, right? And so, in terms of like dramaturgy, it's understanding what was going on at that time. It was understanding in terms of the rights that we had or the lack thereof, right? What Hank could say. I mean, even the fact that his name is Hank is very telling of the time. Hank is it's not a rebellious name, right? And so that even allowed me to understand the type of person that Hank might be. And then doing the work, my friend Latarsha, we come from Tony Greco's class, who taught Philip Seymour Hoffman and Nicole Ari Parker. Actually, David Harbour's in my class. And he taught us how in reading a script, you can see certain words that the ordinary person who reads a script can't see, but we know how to three-dimensionalize those things, and from that you can actually create a character. And so it's what the characters say about him is what people don't say that helped me formulate opinions and fantasy in terms of me fantasizing who he could be, who he couldn't be. And what I realized about Hank more so than anything is he had a lot more courage than I did, right? And so because like my grandma grew up at a time where it did take more courage.
Sure.
Living in 1920s and 1930s is a very different way of living than living in 2025. And hip hop didn't exist where you could actually like really challenge the status quo. And in 1962, the Black Panthers didn't exist, so you didn't even have that type of resistance, right? It was a very,
Yeah.
very specific time in the North while all this other stuff is going on in the South, right?
Right.
So I had to really understand the nuances of that time and then create this character from that.
Well, the original story explores community and fear and kind of what lies beneath the surface of small town life, which is kind of what you're touching on now in the time period. what themes can fans expect this prequel to dive into? Can they expect to dive into maybe the political strife of the time or the racial strife of the time? Anything that sort of encompasses that time period? Is that things that themes will be able to expect fans when we're watching the show?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the themes that it actually talks about, and what Andy, Barbara, Jason, and Brad made sure they wanted to include, was the interludes that talked about the black spot. And the
Mm-hmm.
black spot was this place in Stephen King's book, It, that that got burned down because of the social strife, because of the problems that existed at that time, which in a lot of ways exist at this time too, right?
Right,
And
right.
so it was, the show was built around that fact, that given circumstance of it, Stephen King's book. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's going to encompass all of those things. And I think it does it a service in doing that, because otherwise it's just a horror show.
Yeah.
It needs story. It needs
Right.
depth.
And that's what Stephen King is so well known for. He creates an entire universe based around character that always envelops the time period that it's written in, or even the location, the regional kind of dialect, the optics, all of that. He's so good at creating these worlds, and a world that we're familiar with, especially if you're from the north. Without giving too many spoilers away, because I know you can't do that. What kind of journey does Hank go on this season? Does he face his own fears, literal, psychological, as the story unfolds?
Yes, Hank is an everyman, and what I loved and love about Hank is, there's a saying, like, that my teacher Tony Greco always says, that through ordinary circumstances, extraordinary things happen.
Mm.
And I think the beautiful thing about Hank is Hank represents us. My grandma represented normal people, but throughout watching my grandma's life, I saw her at times do extraordinary things. And Hank takes us on a journey where I believe he reflects the average person. We live in
Mm.
a time where everybody is watching superhero shows and all these different things that are really great and fantastical. But the reality of it is that we are people, and we live, for the most part, no matter how famous you are, or not, we all kind of live the same type of life, right?
Sure.
Right. And so Hank is a reflection of that, who is put through extraordinary circumstances and has to constantly question, who am I?
And it kind of humanizes in a way. I'm assuming that we, as the viewer, can kind of understand. We might not remember 1962, but like you're saying, our grandparents, our parents do, and it puts us in that sort of scenario. We think, oh, what would we be feeling like in those situations? I love that kind of common man, eyes through the common man, of seeing how people react in this kind of scenario. But we have to talk, Stefan, we have to talk about Pennywise, because the origin, we're going to get to the origin in this series and what drives that evil, which is something that, fans of the book and the films always want to just, chomp the bit and dive into. What can you tease about his backstory, and will it explore possibly why he targets children instead of adults in Derry?
The I can't really tease too much, because of where he's, or it's positioned. And so I don't want to give anything away, but I do believe that this show shows dimensions of it in a way that we've never seen before. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's seen before. And you really get a chance to get an inside look on what makes it tick. And
Mm.
I was excited, even when I was on set and watching certain scenes unfold. I was blown away, because I had never, I just love the movies, and I'm not just
Right.
saying that. I think one of the reasons why I ended up getting this part is because I fell in love with the 2017 version. I just think it's
Mm.
just a fantastic film. And so, but those films don't really get a chance to delve into it and what makes it tick. And, yeah, I mean, I think people are going to be in for a treat. I think Bill is outstanding.
Sure.
And he's very nuanced and shows very, like, different elements that I think come from the story and what they're trying to say, and also I just think Bill is just a very different person now. I mean, he has a family. He has a lot going on in his life, and I think he brings all of that to the table.
And he did such a fantastic job in the film, so fans are going to be so excited to see this in the series. Those were big shoes for him to fill with Tim Curry originating the role, and he put those shoes on perfectly, and they
Yes, he
fit.
did. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You're joining this world. It has a deeply passionate fan base, which you are a part of, and as well as I. I read the book. I've seen the original series. I saw the 2017. I can't wait for this. Did you feel any pressure stepping into this world so tied to Stephen King's legacy?
Not necessarily. I think I felt more honored. I
Mm,
felt more honored. Stephen King, Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorite movies, point like second to none.
yeah,
And to know that, and watching Pet Cemetery, and just all these incredible I mean, not just reading the books, but I mean, how many TV shows and films have been made? I mean,
it's
he's
amazing.
he's amazing and
Yeah.
remarkable. And so to be a part of something where I believe he's one of the greatest literary writers of our time, separately from the movies, to be a part of that, I think is just incredible. It's humbling. I'm very grateful and thankful. And the fact that he co-signed this makes it even more remarkable. And then Andy and Barbara, I mean, I think the beautiful thing about their relationship being brother and sister is you get to see how that even works, right? They get along, but they can get into it, and they have like this loving relationship that really shows itself in film, and they really care about people. They don't just talk about things, they actually mean it. And he's a real filmmaker. I don't think, I haven't worked with a lot of filmmakers. I've worked with directors, but filmmaking is a very different thing. And to get an opportunity to kind of get in his mind, sheesh. The things he thinks, he's just like a 6'4", 6'5" little kid. And so for me, it was more of understanding the way in which he directs, understanding Jason and Brad's process, talking to Barbara, the different directors, like really asking a lot of questions, and then having faith that the work that I did, as well as the director and the writing, would all kind of marry themselves. And my goal is to bring the truth, and I think I really do believe I did that, and I put my soul on the line. And so what the audience and critics say, I really don't have any control of that, but I did do the very best that I could, and I think that was enough.
I think fans are going to love it. I think critics are going to love it. You mentioned Andy. We're talking about Andy Muschietti, the director who directed the first four episodes of the series. What was it like collaborating with him to bring Hank and this town, this kind of cursed town, to life?
Well, he directs one and two, and then he directs seven and eight.
Yeah. Oh, so the
So
beginning and the end.
yes, yes, it was wild. I mean, what I will say is we did not shoot a TV show. We shot movies. Andy doesn't understand. I don't think he understands TV in that way. I think he is a storyteller, and he loves movies. And so we shot. I mean, every episode he directed was almost a month long.
Oh, wow.
No, we shot movies. I mean, they are movies, and
Yeah.
I love that because the sets were huge. I mean, I can't even give anything away for seven and eight, but watch out. I mean, because it is. I mean, seven and eight and six. I mean, all of them are really great, but it picks up. It picks up, and the sets were huge.
And you
I mean,
filmed in Canada, right?
in
You filmed, which
Canada,
is like the
where
new Hollywood.
exactly, and we filmed in a lot of the places in Port Hope where they shot the movies. And so to even be able to go to Port Hope and stay there for different periods throughout the shoot, everybody in the town is warm. They know you're there before you even meet anybody. And it's great to be a part of something where you stay at a hotel and everybody knows that everybody one loves the movies and are very supportive and will go above and beyond just to help you out. And so I felt like we were part of like a fraternity or a sorority in a sense, wherever we went because people knew, and that felt awesome. Felt like it was
Yeah.
like we better make this a great show.
Everyone's expecting it. You know,
Yeah.
it's such a highly anticipated prequel. It's taken years for it to come together, and it's coming with some big expectations. What were some of the challenges, especially the biggest challenges the cast faced during production? I know you guys took a break during the SAG-AFTRA strike and had to return. How did that work out, challenging wise, for filming this? Obviously, people get older, they grow up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those things probably were an obstacle that you guys had to tackle.
Yes, I mean, a lot of the kids grew. I mean, they shot up. So it was, and their
It's that
voices
age.
changed. Yes, right? That age. And yes, so that happened. Also, we didn't know if we were coming back. I mean, you didn't, there was a lot
Yeah.
of, I mean, we kind of thought we were coming back, but then when you watch how many shows got canceled, I mean, from different networks, right, that were really good shows. I mean, I was looking forward to certain shows coming back, but because they were gone from their first season into their second season, it's not easy to keep an audience around. And so there was a lot of uncertainty. We went back. Everybody had to leave, so we had housing. My family and I had left our place in New York because we were going to be there for pretty much the next 9 to 10 months, and then we had to go stay with our family at that time. And so it was a lot of moving pieces, a lot of discomfort, I think, around. And then when we came back, we shot 4 episodes in tandem, and that was very, very, very nerve wracking in a lot of ways because you're like, hold on, what am I doing? And you're filming today at this location, and then you finish and then walk across the street and or get into a van, and then you go somewhere else and you're shooting a completely different episode. And then Andy's working with us, then he has to leave us for like an hour to go back somewhere else and film something else, and then come back to see what our work was. I was just like, what is going on? It was a lot. I would
Yeah.
not wish that on anybody.
This is a horror show. It's not just a horror show. All Stephen King books and films, they always touch, like we said, on social problems that's going on in the world, and also horror, and kind of ties those all together. Are there any scenes that genuinely scared you while filming that you're hoping has fans jumping out of their seat when they watch? Don't spoil
Oh,
it, but just give us a hint.
yeah. I think I think I think the last few episodes are going to blow people away. I
Oh,
think
we
that
are looking forward to that.
I
I
think
have
they're
to
going to blow
ask you
people away.
one thing, because in these kind of Stephen King worlds, they all kind of connect in little tiny Easter eggs. It's like an expanded mythology of King's universe. Are there any Easter eggs or references to other Stephen King works in this film that fans are going to be like, Shawshank, the
Yes,
sand,
Shawshank. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, Shawshank. Phew. Nobody wants to go to Shawshank because your ASS ain't getting out, right?
Right, right.
So yeah, and I think as the series continues, there are going to be a lot more Easter eggs that people
Oh,
get a
good.
chance to explore. Yeah. Andy was talking about that at the premiere. So yeah,
Well,
definitely. But Shawshank
fans
is
are going to be tracking those like crazy. Clowns have always divided audiences. People either love them or they hate them.
yeah.
And when it first came out, I swear, both the book and the original film, A Fear of Clowns, like, hit an all-time high. And after spending so much time in Derry, has your opinion on clowns changed, Stefan?
You know what I'll say? I'm not naturally scared of clowns, but if I watch it, I'm like, what is going on? Because on set, he might be in the out, his whole attire, which takes over 3 hours for him to do. It's a lot.
That's
It's a lot.
commitment.
It's a lot. And I mean, everybody that was a part of that are like just incredible. But then he talks, and then he has like this sweet voice, and naturally he's just a loving guy. So it's hard for me to be scared of him on set because he's such a loving guy. Although he's tall. I mean, he's tall. I mean, typically Andy's the tallest person on set. It's those two.
Mhm.
But when I watch it, it is scary. I can't say I'm somebody that naturally watches scary movies. It's not like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to that to come out. So yes, I think I'm not scared of clowns in general, but when I'm watching a scary movie about clowns, I might not want to turn it on right away.
Well, it's Halloween at the end of the month. Everybody wants to get scared.
That's
What's
right.
next for you, Stefan? Are you working on any other projects we can look out for?
I'm up for a few things, so hopefully in the next things will things will kind of pan out.
Well, what would you like to say to the fans of yours and your work and the new fans you're going to make with Hank?
Enjoy it. Welcome to Derry. Please watch it and have some popcorn and just invite as many of your friends and family as possible. I think you're going to go on an awesome ride, and we are so looking forward for fans and just the audience to get to watch it. So excited.
Well,